Hi everyone, so today I'm going to gold leaf this pencil drawing I just did, and I'm going to take you through the steps on how to do so. So first I'll show you the tools. I'm going to be working with a metal leaf adhesive, which is a glue that you don't need a lot of it, but you do need enough to cover the surface area that you want. And then I'm going to be working with a few different brushes and a dauber, which is normally meant for clay sculpting. It has a little ball at the end of the point, and I'm going to use that for the dots for the glue. And then I'm going to be working with gold leaf today. So here's my mess of previous uses that I will be pulling from. All right, so to start off, I'm going to go ahead and paint this on. Now, if you see my phone come in and out of this, it's because I am also doing a TikTok for this. You gotta, get as much use of it as you can. And also you have to be very precise with this. And I know some people will tint their glue just a little bit so you can see where you've laid it down. I feel pretty comfortable at this point, but that's not to say that I may still have a few areas that need to be retouched, and that's okay. Usually when I do gold leafing, I don't just do one pass. I normally will do two. I will try my best to cover all these hard to reach places on the first pass, so that way the second pass is literally just for minor edits and polish that needs to happen. Now, I don't know if you can see this super clearly, but I am doing a very light layer of glue. You really want it to be thin. You don't want it to be gummy or built up at all, because the thinnest of application will still get the best results with the gold leaf. And normally I do this on canvases, so the surface on the canvas tends to let the glue sit for a little longer, where I can kind of tell with this paper, it's absorbing pretty fast, and I'm assuming that'll mean it'll dry faster. Because normally, like I said, I don't do this directly on paper as much as I do canvases. So I guess it's a little bit experimental with you guys today. But I just had the weird urge to want to do this as a video. And for the area that I'm doing the gold in, it'll be this halo circle that is behind her head, the area down here, the eyeball in the sun, and then little dots everywhere. So we'll see if I can do this. And if you need to, just go slow. It's okay if the glue dries for even more than like a half hour. It just needs to be kind of that stickiness. And I was actually told when I learned how to gold leaf to not apply it while it's wet, because the glue will roll over and it'll pull the gold leaf. So it's actually probably better if you go slower than you even think to be precise, because you don't have to rush at all with this. So take your time. And normally when I do a gold leafing like this, I try to make sure I can see what I'm doing by having a light source angled at a direction so I can see the sheen that the glue is giving, because otherwise this would be way more difficult. Okay. So I'm gonna switch to my smaller brush. Get some of those detailed areas. It's definitely gonna be around the edges that will be the toughest. So I'm literally putting on a very little amount of glue and then just edging it out. And I decided to do this video in real time so you can see every step of the way, regardless of how slow it may be at times. I'll do my best not to have my head get in the frame too much. I know some artists do that, and I probably should be doing this too, but some artists will edge first and then fill in, kind of like when you're painting a wall in a room. And now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, I probably should be doing that as well, rather than edge after. All right. Then once this is done, now do the eyeball on the sun here. So you know what? I'm gonna pull out my phone for my TikTok. Let's see here. Okay. And then I'm gonna switch back to my big brush. I'm gonna do this section here. So you know what? I will start with edging, like I just told myself I should. Yep, and reverting back to just blobbing it on and then smoothing it out. Actually, I'm gonna start more at the top here. So I think a lot of this, you just have to have kind of very steady, controlled hand and stroke with the brush. Be sure if it's pooling up, like if the glue starts getting pooled up on the edge, don't keep it on the edge, go toward the middle so that that excess glue doesn't go on to the pencil areas that you don't want the gold leaf to be on. You know what, I'm gonna switch to my small brush. Definitely get in this harder to reach area up here. Get another detail and then pull up my phone again. It's always good to get as many marketing uses out of a single image as you can, just so that you're utilizing as many spaces as you can for your art to be seen. And obviously there's a fine line between letting social media control you and dictate what you draw and still like enjoying what you're doing. But I think as long as you're, creating work that you enjoy and you feel passionate and genuine about, having it seen in as many different platforms as possible, I don't think is a bad thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this tool. I haven't used it yet, so this is kind of experimental for me here. But I feel like this will get the job done. So as you can see, I apply a little bit of glue on the dot. Let me see if you can see this. Yeah, a little bit. And then as I go down, I'm gonna do, let's see here. I think I'm gonna do all the dots on this darker fabric part. So I'm literally just dabbing it in the glue, then applying it to the image. And if at points I'm hard to understand, that could be my Wisconsin Midwestern drawl, so I'm sorry in advance for that. Oop. So you gotta be careful where you place your hand. So I'm gonna turn this, make sure my hand's not sticky. Okay. It is something you do want to be aware of when working with glue. There we go. Ooh. Oh my gosh, as I just say it. Get some more. Now, the reason I wanted to add gold to this drawing, it was already kind of an experimental piece for me. And I thought, you know what? If I'm gonna have fun with this drawing and let it be a pure experimental piece, even though it kind of grew into a full established illustration, I still wanna have that same level of experimentation with it. And if that means that this gold might ruin it, well, at least I tried. I'd rather go with my gut feelings than ignore them, because it's definitely proved to me in the past to be successful. Oh my gosh, Tim. You know what? I'm going to turn this around. Clearly, I'm struggling with not having that in my position here. So now I'm going to fill in all of these flower centers here. Oh, you know what? I'll TikTok this as well. This is a little easier to do because it's essentially just applying gently and then moving on. And then every now and then sticking to the paper, apparently. I want to make sure I really should have more of a order, like starting from top to bottom. I don't know why I do that. I do this with pencil drawing as well, where I'll, move throughout it periodically. And I think that's because I try to have more of a consistent level of finish as I'm working. But with stuff like golding, you kind of want to make sure you don't miss anything. So I think I have to switch my mental gears and make sure that I kind of find an order on how to do these things. Okay, that feels pretty good. Let's see, where else do I want to add the gold? I think the little dots in here I'll do. And to clean this, I don't have a rag on me, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my left hand and just pull it off. But a rag would be preferable. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay. So now I'm just going to lay the dots. This one I'm actually going in order, top to bottom. Actually, maybe I'll TikTok this part too. All right, let's see here. On this side, I think I'm only gonna do the flowers here in like the middle of them. Ooh, it's a little much. Okay, let's see, is there anywhere else I want to do? I think those are the only spaces that are really calling out to me. Well, you know what, maybe I'll do the little circle on her headpiece here. That one, and that one. Okay, so now I'm gonna let this dry, preferably at least 10 minutes, but I think I'm gonna let it go for about 15 and then I'll come back. So see you when I come back. Okay, now that we let it dry, as you can see, it's no longer as sheeny and it is ready for the gold. So let me put this back in place. There we go. Now for the gold foil, go ahead. Oop. Oh gosh, getting messy already. Some of these fell off of the plate, so I'm just gonna grab them and lay them off very gently. Oop. Yeah, because once it touches the glue, it will adhere to it pretty strongly. Oh, this is a nice long one. Oh, nope, yep. Well, wasn't going in the intended area, but I guess that works too. All right, normally though, you're supposed to do this with a brush. So let me go ahead and pull some of that out. So as you push the gold flakes around, it'll start sticking to that glue. Actually, man, some of these really long strips I feel like are perfect for right there. Oop. There we go. Actually, you really don't need that much. I'm gonna put a lot of this back already. Let me grab my phone out. As you can see, as you kind of brush it away, it will only adhere to the parts where we put the glue, and then it'll leave that nice finish. And it may look, you might have all these like little gold flakes everywhere. Don't worry about those right now. You'll brush all of them off at the end. If anything, right now, your only real focus should be getting the gold on all the places that you applied the glue. Actually, I know that this flower section has a lot, so I'm gonna try to lay that one. There we go. The eyeball. Oh. There we go. I guess I really should do the big part. part where I'll probably have to do the most touch-up on, just because I feel there's more room for error up here. Let me pull one more flake here. Oop. Yeah, I'm liking how this is looking. Okay, let me do a pass kind of everywhere to make sure I didn't miss any of our spots. And then do kind of a very light brushing. And I like to work in a circular motion. That way I'm kind of hitting the angle at every angle. I'm not missing an edge that needs to be buffed out. Grab my phone one more time here. There we go. Okay, so I can kind of see it's actually pretty good. I might have to do just some really minor touch-ups here and there, but overall I'm actually feeling pretty good about the application. Phew, I'm glad I was able to do that one well in one pass. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my plate and just kind of dump the excess back onto the plates. And whenever you're doing the brushing, I try not to be too aggressive with the paper. I don't want to tear it. I don't want the gold coming off. I think for some of the dots, may have been a bit thick. I maybe should have let some of the dots dry a little bit more. They still seem to be, like the outer layer of the bubble dried like a sphere, but I think on the inside it was still a bit tacky. Oh, I like how that looks. Phew. All right, put that to the side. Let me see how this looks from afar. Nope. You know what? I'm actually feeling like I want to add more gold to this. Coming back down, I actually remembered my paper towel this time. Going back and forth, because I'm thinking maybe I could do the swirls, some of those flowers, but maybe that would be too much. Actually, maybe I just like it as is. Okay, well, let's do the little touch-ups here, and then we'll call this one done. So around this edge, notice it's still blank. Around here. It's pretty easy to do touch-ups once you have most of the area already golded. Maybe have a cleaner edge on this side. I actually like how that looks. Touch more on the top here. And definitely some cleanup on this edge. Yeah, so once I fill all these in, I'm gonna let it dry again. And come back, and once we do our final golding, we should be done. Keyword should. There might be some place I notice where I'm like, ah, that still looks kind of bad. Yeah, as much as I want to add more gold everywhere, I don't know if that will be distracting. Like, a part of me really wants to go for it, but the other part of me is like, Tim, just keep it as is. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll add these little dots. Actually, I'm going to change back to my dauber tool. I don't know the official name for this tool, so I'm calling it the dauber. There we go. Make sure my hand's not landing in the glue. I think those are all the dots. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at there. Like I said, I don't want to do too much and then regret it. Okay, so once again, I'll let that dry and then we will finish up. Okay, now that we're back, we're gonna do the touch-ups on the areas that we cleaned up. What's funny is I normally don't use my hands, but for some reason, I'm having that urge to pull the gold with my hands today, which I'm sure is not the recommended way. So I would definitely use your brush more so than use your fingers. But if you're having that urge, let's go ahead and fill in these cracks. Grab some of these smaller speckles. As before, do that buffing. Go in small circular motions. Don't press too hard on the paper. I like barely press at all. I'm more gliding on top of the paper. Okay, I'm liking the edits here that we made. All right, and then one more time, we'll pour it in the plate, and then we will call this one done. So thank you guys for joining me and watching me gold this illustration. Hope this may help you with your own golding. And I would definitely spray your pencil drawing beforehand with some kind of a fixative. That way your graphite isn't getting brushed, just the gold. All right, and there we have it. Gold leaf pencil drawing. Thanks again, and until next time.